Glad to meet you all today. Today, let's learn the textual comprehension, grammar and vocabulary of the 5th unit of the 8th standard English textbook, SSC Board, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. On to part A, that is the treasure within part 1. On to the first question. What nightmare did Hafiz have? Nightmare means a bad dream, a terrible dream. Hafiz had the nightmare about appearing for mathematics exam where he did not know anything. So he had the bad dream of appearing for the maths exam. It was very terrible because he did not know how to solve the problems in the exam. On to the second question. Which words of the principal influenced Hafiz deeply? His principal said that he was a good student but he never studied, and that he had taken care of him till that day and he cannot take care of him thereafter, so he has to take care of himself. He even insisted that his mother worked very hard to bring him up and pay all his fees all those years, so it was his responsibility to rise to the occasion and study. These words influenced Hafiz deeply. So when the principal said that Hafiz was a good boy and that he has to study in order to fulfill his responsibility towards his mother, these words really influenced Hafiz. On to the third question. That year I did not step out onto the field. Who said these words and why? Hafiz said these words because he stopped playing and started studying to show his obedience towards his principal. So when the principal advised him not to waste his time, to concentrate on his studies, he immediately responded. He showed his obedience by stopping playing and then concentrating on studying, most of the time spending in studying. On to the fourth question. What was the reason for which Hafiz indulged in distraction? Distraction means disturbance. Why did he make disturbance in the class? When Hafiz did not want to study, he indulged in distraction. On to the fifth question. What things did Hafiz prefer to academics? List them. Hafiz preferred playing, creating distraction, planning strategies, and having gang fights to academics. Rather than having academics, he preferred all these things, being mischiefs over there. On to part B, the treasure within part 2. The first question, why couldn't Hafiz join either the police or the army? So here I have given the answer in two ways, either of them you can choose. Hafiz could not join the army because his aunt tore the admission letter for the army, and he could not join the police force because his mother did not want him to join it. Or else you can write the same answer this way. He could not join either of them because his family situation was not favorable. He could not leave his mother alone and go. So we all know he didn't have a father. His father was not there. He was no more. So his mother had taken the whole care, and if he goes either to army or police, he has to leave his mother alone, which was highly impossible, which was not a favorable situation over there. On to the second question. What made Hafiz become an architect? When Hafiz went to learn French from his cousin, who was an architect's wife, he saw somebody drawing a window details in the architect's office. So his cousin was an architect's wife, and in his office, that is his cousin's husband's office, there was someone drawing the details of a window, and Hafiz saw him drawing. He pointed out that it was a wrong drawing. Now he could find out that the sketch that person was making was wrong. His cousin's husband was surprised to see Hafiz's talent of identifying a wrong drawing and suggested him to join architecture. Now you know window drawing is very complicated drawing. When Hafiz saw that drawing, he immediately found out that the sketch that he was making was incorrect, and if that sketch is made into a window, the window won't open. So this needed extraordinary knowledge. Then only a person without any prior knowledge about architecture, without any prior education about architecture, getting to know or identifying this mistake is great talent. So this is what Hafiz's cousin's husband found out. Really, he could find out that Hafiz was really talented, naturally talented. That is why he could find out. And so he suggested him to join architecture because he had natural inclination, natural interest towards architecture. That is what made Hafiz become an architect. On to the third question. Why did Hafiz's teacher think that he could become an architect? So when he was a child, at that time, one of the teachers told him that he would become an architect. What probably made the teacher think so? Hafiz's teacher thought that he could become an architect because he made very good sketches when he was just in second standard. So it needs really an outstanding knowledge or a remarkable knowledge to make sketches just in second standard, and those two were too good. So his teacher could estimate, or teacher could have a thinking that he could become an architect. On to the fourth question. Why do you think Hafiz was not interested in studies? I think Hafiz was not interested in studies because he felt that there was no application of mind there. He learned more by doing on his own than what he learned from academics. He thought in a practical way and found the theoretical world tough to deal with. So his way of thinking was different, and it was all practical. So maybe that is the reason he was not interested in studies. On to the fifth question. Comment on the statement, giftedness and learning disabilities go hand in hand. How do Hafiz's experience support this statement? So here the quote is giftedness, that is natural talent, and learning disabilities, children who are extraordinarily talented, very much specially talented, they are not much good at studies. Is it right? And how can we prove with Hafiz's experience in his life? Let's see. Though Hafiz scored very less marks in his exams, he was highly talented and skillful in making sketches, sports, and planning strategies. This shows that giftedness and learning disabilities go hand in hand. So here, just because he did not score good marks in exam, we cannot tell that he did not have talent, he was not good for anything. He was extraordinary, he was excellent, he was marvelous in the other skills. So here we can say that this quote comes true in the life of Hafiz. On to the sixth question. What according to Hafiz is mathematics? Do you agree with his view of mathematics? Give reasons. According to Hafiz, putting design, construction, psychology and sociology together and making a sketch from all that is mathematics. Do you agree with this view? Yes, I agree with this view. Why? Because we apply mathematics as a logical basis in many of the calculations of our day-to-day life. We use mathematics in every walk of our life. So mathematics is not just taking the notebook, writing with a pen, adding, subtracting. It is much more than that. It is a logical analysis. Now, on to the next bit, that is the vocabulary part. Now observe the following table and put a tick in the grid where the element of meaning relates to the particular word according to the sentence given before. Interested. What does interested mean among all these words? Now let's go to the example where it is used. With respect to the context, we should see. Varun is interested in archaeology. So here among these meanings, which fits better? Yes, something that excites to do. So our Varun is much interested in archaeology. The second example here, I was so much absorbed in the match that I didn't notice the thief come in. Absorbed, which meaning completely fits the word absorbed according to the example. Yes, so interested in one thing that you forget yourself. The person was very much into the match, watching the match, that he did not see the thief coming inside the house. On to the third sentence. The students listened raptly to the lecture. So raptly here means paying undivided attention, without any disturbance, without any distraction, complete concentration. So that is rapt over here. On to the fourth sentence. The mysterious story engrossed the readers all the way to the surprise ending. What does the word engrossed mean here? Yes, completely involved. On to the fifth sentence. Her painting never fails to fascinate the viewers. What does fascinate mean? Yes, something that excites to do. That is attract. So attractive. Okay, so this is how we find out the meaning with respect to the context according to the sentence, which is best suitable. According to that, we pick up the meaning here. Look at the following sentence taken from the text. I used to have this terrible nightmare. The word terrible intensifies the meaning of the word nightmare in a negative sense. Can we say terrible flower or terrible success? We cannot, because flower and success are pleasant things. So an unpleasant adjective generally defines an unpleasant noun. So any unpleasant thing only it can define better. Write a few words that can go with the word terrible and use them in your own sentence. One is done for you. Terrible experience. I had a terrible experience when we met with an accident. So next examples we are making with this word combination. Terrible disease. She suffered from a terrible disease. Terrible cyclone. A terrible cyclone hit the coastal areas. Terrible mistake. I did a terrible mistake by keeping the door open. Terrible movie. That was a terrible movie. Look at the following words and write the possible word combinations. Ugly. Ugly face, ugly dress, ugly scene. Ugly means awkward, not good looking. Sweet. Sweet song, sweet voice, sweet behavior. Difficult. Difficult situation, difficult problem, difficult task. You can put any other word also. Funny. Funny incident, funny joke, funny thing, funny creature. Horrible. Horrible condition. Horrible noise, horrible crime. Ordinary. Ordinary people, ordinary life, ordinary dress, and so on. Use the above combination in your own sentences and write them in your notebook. So using these words you can make your own sentences. On to the next bit. Read the following paragraph carefully. Write the different meanings of the word present in the space provided. So when you see the example here, we see the word board. The different ways, the different meanings of the word board are used here. Now we are given one word, that is present. And according to the sentence, each place it takes different meaning. Let us see what it is. Last Sunday, I attended Lehari's birthday party. All her family members and friends were present there. In the beginning of the party, Lehari's father presented Miss Mrinalini Gupta, the world #1 Kathak artist at present. Miss Gupta did present a scintillating show. I enjoyed the party a lot. At the end, I gave Lehari a marvelous present. If you see the first sentence, let us see what is the meaning of present over there. All her family members and friends were present. What does that mean? Yeah, they were all present over there. That is to be at a place. All their presence was there. They were all present over there. And that means, on to the next sentence. Lehari's father presented Miss Mrinalini Gupta. What does this mean? Yes, introduced. Yeah. And then on to the third sentence, the third part where present is used. The world #1 Kathak artist at present. At present means now existing. Then the fourth, Miss Gupta did present a scintillating show. Did present means perform, exhibit. That show is performed. On to the fifth part where present is used. I gave Lehari a marvelous present. Present means a gift. So here we see one word having so many meanings. Pick out similar words from the text or elsewhere that can be used as both a noun and a verb. Look them up in a dictionary and write their different meanings. Copy. Copy as a verb. Don't copy during exams. Copy as a noun. Bring a Xerox copy. Show your fair copy. Show your rough copy. That is also the noun form. Thought as a verb. I thought you were on the way. Thought is the past tense of think. Then thought as noun. My father's thoughts are very noble. The thinkings. Okay, ideas. This is called thoughts. On to the third sentence. Meet. Meet as verb. Meet me tomorrow. Meet as noun. Parents meet is at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Meet means meeting. Test as verb. Test your knowledge frequently. Keep testing. Okay. And test as noun. Teacher conducted a slip test. Prepare for the test. Prepare for the unit test. So that is the noun form. Water. Water in the verb form. Water the plants. That means pour water to the plants. Water as noun. Give me some water. On to the grammar part. In the interview, Hafiz contractor shares his past experiences and habits by saying, I used to be so interested in playing. So here, pick out some more similar expressions from the text having used to and would and write in your notebook. Now you need to go through the text and find out the words wherein we see the word used to. Used to means past habits which do not exist now. We do not have the same habit now. That is what we use used to. Tell your friends what you did normally when you were in 7th class. I used to eat junk food when I was in 7th class. I used to get up late in the morning when I was in 7th class. That means now I am not getting up late. I am getting up early in the morning. I used to watch more cartoon shows when I was in 7th class. That means now I am not watching more cartoon shows. I am watching informative informative shows. I used to postpone my works when I was in 7th class. That means nowadays I am very punctual. I am doing my work in time. So here used to means a habit which was existent and which is not existent. Now we have left that habit. On to part C. They literally build the nation. The first question. What are the different constructions planned by civil engineers? The different constructions planned by civil engineers are highways, railways, airports, harbors, bridges, tunnels, dams, oil wells, offshore oil wells, all this you can write, and other infrastructures, skyscrapers, buildings, all that you can write. Draw a tree diagram to represent different branches of civil engineering and the features associated with each. So you can make a flow chart like this. Civil engineering. It's of many branches, but we have concentrated only on the 3 branches, the highlighted ones in the lesson. Environmental engineering, structural engineering and highway engineering. And environmental engineers, what do they concentrate on? Wastewater management, public health and recycling. Structural engineering, they concentrate much on buildings, microwave towers, transmission lines, pipelines and many more. That is similar ones. Highway engineers, what do they concentrate on? Traffic flow planning, roadway geometry designs and all the same. On to the third question. Is the title suitable to the essay? Justify your answer. What is our title? What's our title? Yes, literally they build the nation. Is the title suitable? Are they building the nation? Yes, the title is suitable to the essay. Why? In which way is it suitable? For the development of a country, the development of infrastructure is a must, and this must be done in a systematic way, and that is carried out by the civil engineers. Hence, they literally build the nation. So, the true development of a nation, the infrastructure also should be developed. And this construction should be done in such a way, in such a systematic way that the development becomes a sustainable development, which becomes a long-lasting development. And this great job is done by the civil engineers. So, you can say that they are building the nation. They are really involved in the nation building process. How do civil engineers guide the clients? Civil engineers guide the clients. Clients means the customers, the people who are going to construct the house, the owners of the house. How these civil engineers are guiding them? Civil engineers guide the clients through the approval and construction process while offering strategy, advice and their experience. On to the fifth question. Do you think civil engineering is a challenging job? Why? Is it a tough job? Does it need much of the intellectuality? Is it a challenging job, a promising job? How could you say that? Yes, I think civil engineering is a challenging job because a civil engineer must not only have the knowledge in preparing the sketches, estimating the cost of construction, scheduling techniques, reviewing the architectural drawing, using cost effective materials, but also should be capable of knowing the client's choice and expectation. So here we see the civil engineer need not just be well versed in his technical knowledge, his professional knowledge, but also he should know a bit of psychology. He should know what the client is expecting. So this is a very challenging job. These people with a lot of talent and a lot of interest in the field can only excel in this job. Hope this session was useful to you all. Thank you for joining, and please leave a comment. That will be very much helpful to me to work harder and better for the next videos. Thank you and have a blessed day.